We're all following these invisible scripts, these deep-seated rules that pretty much dictate how we think, how we feel, and what we do. So today, we're going to uncover those scripts and, more importantly, learn how to finally pick up the pen and start rewriting them ourselves.
Does that sound familiar? That feeling that you're just going through the motions, kind of on autopilot, reacting to everything in your life as if someone else is pulling the strings?
Well, it turns out that's not actually too far from the truth. So much of our lives are shaped by these really deep biological and psychological patterns that are running the show just beneath the surface of our awareness.
But here's the really good news. Once you can see the script, you can change it. So think of this as your guide to understanding that whole tangled mess inside and finally rewriting your own story. We're going to break these forces down and give you the tools you need to take back control starting from the inside out.
Okay, part 1. Mastering your inner world. Let's dive in and start by looking at those hidden forces that are shaping our own thoughts and feelings.
Let's start with a really modern paradox. You decide you're going to take a day for self-care, maybe stay in bed all day scrolling on your phone, but instead of feeling recharged, you just end up feeling worse. Why does that happen?
And this gets right to the heart of the problem. What feels like rest is actually a trap that people are calling bed rotting. See, it's not real recovery, it's a cycle of inaction. It completely messes with your body's natural clock, that's your circadian rhythm, and then it just heaps on a dose of guilt, which keeps you stuck in that same low-energy state you were trying to escape from in the first place.
So how do you break that cycle without totally giving up on rest? Well, you have to make it intentional. Try setting a timer for what you could call a safe bed rot. Make a hard and fast, no phone in bed rule to separate real rest from that mindless scrolling. And finally, try practicing mindfulness to just notice the feeling of paralysis. Just being aware of it is the first step to actually moving through it.
Okay, let's shift gears to a different inner script, this one about our relationships. You get a short text, maybe just sounds good, and then you spend the next 2 days analyzing every single possible meaning, building up a whole fantasy around it. Sound familiar? Yeah? That feeling? It isn't love. It's a psychological state called limerence. It's basically an obsession that hijacks your brain's reward system, kind of like an addiction. And you know what fuels it? One key ingredient, uncertainty. Just knowing this is a huge deal because it lets you stop blaming yourself and start taking back your mental energy.
So to break free, you need to give yourself a reality check. Step 1 is just acknowledging the mental gymnastics for what they are, total fantasy. Step 2, ground yourself in the facts. Make a list of the actual, concrete interactions you've had, not the feelings or the hopes you've built up. This simple little act helps you separate that idealized fantasy from the real person.
And what about making decisions? We're so often taught to make pro-con lists and be super logical, but how many times do you find yourself arguing with a really strong feeling deep down, a gut instinct you just can't seem to shake?
Well, that feeling is not random. It's actually coming from your enteric nervous system, which is literally a second brain located in your gut. This system is an absolute master at detecting patterns. It picks up on all these tiny cues, like microexpressions or shifts in tone, that your conscious logical brain completely misses. It's an incredibly powerful source of intelligence.
Learning to listen to it is a simple 3-step process. First, just pause that endless cycle of overthinking. Second, feel. Quiet your mind and really tune in to that still small voice coming from your body. And finally, act. Trust that intelligence and take the leap. Okay, so we've looked at our inner world. Now let's move outward to mastering our relationships and our communication and see how all these ideas really build on each other.
Oh man, we have all been there, right? Trapped in a conversation about the weather and you're just desperately wanting to connect on a deeper level, but you have no idea how to get there without it being super awkward.
This is where a tool called the ladder technique is amazing. It helps you literally climb from that surface-level chatter to a genuine connection. You start with a simple observation. Then you offer an opinion. After that, share a related experience. And finally, you can open the door to connection with just a little touch of vulnerability. Each step is like an invitation for the other person to climb that ladder with you.
But, true connection isn't just about opening up. It's also about protecting your own energy. And this brings us to a really powerful and difficult script to rewrite: the need to people please. So just let this simple, kind of radical idea sink in for a moment. No is a complete sentence.
The whole key is delivering that no with confidence. So when you feel that urge to over-explain and justify, just pause and take a breath. If they push you, use what's called the broken record technique, just calmly repeating your boundary without apologizing. And finally, learn to embrace the power of silence. After you've stated your boundary, a comfortable pause is often way more powerful than any justification you could ever give.
Finally, let's talk about charisma. You've seen those people, right? They walk into a room and they just have a certain magnetism. You can't really put your finger on it, but they command attention and trust so effortlessly. What is their secret?
Well, it's not magic. It's biology. It's a phenomenon called limbic synchrony. This is like the invisible dance where our brains subconsciously sync up with other people's through mirroring their body language, their energy levels, their tone. And when you learn to consciously initiate this dance, you can build incredible rapport and trust without ever saying a word.
So we've looked at mastering our inner world and our outer world. But really, all of these tools, they all lead to one ultimate goal. And it's not about having perfect control. It's about finding the courage to simply be you. The key to this courage really lies in a life-changing concept from Adlerian psychology. It's called separating your tasks. The idea is simple, but it's so profound. Your task is to make your choices based on your values. Their task is to decide how they feel about it. Managing their feelings is not your job.
And when you truly embrace that separation, you realize this powerful truth. If you are living an authentic life, a life that is truly yours, some people are not going to like it. And that is not just okay. A lot of the time, it's a sign that you're finally doing it right.
So I'm going to leave you with this question, and I want you to take a moment and really consider it. If you truly let go of that script that demands everyone's approval, what would you do? What choices would you make? What kind of life would you build? The pen is in your hand, so start writing.